Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 14 of the Diverse Dialogues podcast. I'm Mateo,
And I'm Ruben.
and for today's podcast, it's all about music, specifically music genres that we either like or pretend to like. But without further ado, let's get right into the questions. And you know what? I'll let Ruben start.
All right, my question is, what is your specific favorite music genre?
Me personally, metal. That is my all-time favorite. As a person that likes I like music in general, with like some exceptions, but for the most part, metal and most of the subgenres of metal, I do really like, and I would go in depth, but that's the whole point of this episode, so we'll save that for later.
My specific favorite music genre is alternative rock. I think okay, so just to break the fourth wall a bit, kinda. Before we recorded this, we actually spent like 45 minutes, I'd say, picking our favorite artists / bands for each genre. But rock, it was very easy for me, probably because I already knew some at the top of my head, because alternative rock is my favorite music genre.
My question is, first one, how much do you guys love music?
I mean, it's basically like a fourth of my personality and my voice crack.
Fourth. I would say it's probably a third of my person. Since I not only play the guitar, but I'm getting into wanting to learn how music works in a more in-depth area. Yes, I'm going down that route, but I would say out of everyone, I think it's no secret that I am the most invested with music in a more like educational level. But I think everyone in the group at least likes music somewhat.
Yeah.
And to the people that don't like music, what's wrong with you? Yep.
All right. My second question is, when did your investment in music originate? I'll go first because it's a really stupid answer. I got invested in music when I was playing Geometry Dash. That was like the origin of like why I got like into music and all that.
Mine is a more 2000s nostalgic answer, which is my parents playing it on the CD in the car's radio
Oh wow.
and basically introducing me to their favorite stuff that they listen to all the time, which was, of course, mainly just rock and metal. And I fell in love with it, and specifically metal, because of the fact that it brought me energy. Really shows the ADHD there, I tell you that much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved it, and I got really into it, and so much so that I could even envision shit with music. I think that also goes to show how much I'm really into music. All right, and my last question. Could there be music from the Diverse Society?
I mean, a long time ago, we planned on a skit of music genres in a nutshell, but I don't know what happened to that, man. It just disappeared, man. I don't know.
It's a big "it depends" answer.
Yeah.
Because we all like music. Jordan is one of the few people that would love to make music. But the thing is, we're not really sure if we want to really take it seriously or do it all for shits and giggles.
Yeah.
Because the thing about it is that's the funny thing about music. You can take it really seriously and get like oh my god, yes. Or you get like, bro, you're taking this too seriously. Or you're like, bro, this shit's so stupid, it's hilarious, I love it. Or like, this is the stupidest thing I ever heard of in my life. When it comes down to making music.
Yeah.
When you take it seriously or not, it's always a 50-50 with even those two.
Yeah. It's not like something you can really like balance out between the two. It's basically impossible.
But yeah, again, it's a really big maybe, and who knows, maybe you'll get Diverse Society music, but I don't know. Alright, now we're moving on to the activity, which is just me and Ruben basically just going through at least the more popular genres of music and listing off our favorite artist, favorite songs, and our introduction to the genre of, like I said, of each music genre. And it's in no particular order of like which one's our most favorite and which one's not, because we already explained what our favorite was. But we were just going down the list, and keep in mind that some of these answers will probably be serious, and some of them are also going to be not, like we mentioned earlier. So, without further ado, I'd say let's just get right into it, unless you want to say something first.
No, not really.
Alright, cool. So, we started off with metal. And my favorite artist from metal, I'm pretty sure my friends are going to know exactly what the answers are. For the first one, Metallica. I grew up with Metallica, and I took a break from them in middle school because I just was trying to get into what people were listening to at the time, which was dubstep. That didn't last long. And then I went back to metal, which was Metallica, of course. Then my other favorite bands are Judas Priest and Pantera. Those three are my top three, basically. You want to go like favorite artist, favorite songs, like back and forth, or you want to just go with like?
Sure. We could do favorite, yeah, like just back and forth.
Okay, so then you say your artist now.
Okay, so my favorite metal, I guess they're all bands, is Slipknot, Disturbed, and System of the Down.
Yeah, he has the more like modern. I have like the more like before 2000s era. And for favorite songs, this may be a shocker to people, but not to them. Every song on Master of Puppets is my favorite song, the album. And I also went with two favorite songs specifically for each of the bands I mentioned. And there's plenty more, but these are the ones that stand out the most. For Pantera, Mouth for War, and A New Level. Because those songs kick ass. And again, there's plenty more, but those are the two I thought of first, and they're all awesome. A lot of Pantera song is awesome, but I specifically went with those two, just because they're the most kick-ass songs I heard. And for Judas Priest, I went with Metal Meltdown and Electric Eye. Now, Electric Eye, because that at the time was my favorite song growing up as a kid, because every time it came on, I was like, yes, this is my favorite song. And kind of still is to this day, because I really like listening to it.
Sorry.
Nice.
Alright, my favorite songs. For Slipknot, okay, I only picked one from each band, just because, it was very simple for me. For Slipknot, I chose Duality. I was torn between that and Psychosocial, but I think Duality I like more. System of the Down, BYOB, that's my favorite from that one. Not Chop Suey, surprisingly. And Disturbed. Wait, was that Yeah, that was it. Disturbed, Down with the Sickness, because that was really one I could think of.
If I were to say what my favorite Slipknot song was, it'll be Sulfur. That's my favorite.
Good one.
And then our introduction, as I mentioned earlier with the questions from earlier, I was introduced to metal from basically, like I said earlier, listening to it on the CD of the car radio, but it was really because of my mom. My mom is a humongous metalhead mom, and she really got me into it, and ever since then I think I even went down an even deeper rabbit hole when it comes to metal, where she just mainly stuck with like the more popular stuff. And actually, you know what? I'll just, to extend the length of the podcast, I'll tell her what her introduction to metal was. It was Pantera, Cowboys from Hell, at a bar. When she was traveling the world, and she went to England for the first time, and then she went to a bar, she heard this song, and she's like, what is this song? And then, she got hooked just like that.
That's pretty lit. My introduction to metal, like most people, when I first heard of metal, I could not tell the difference between metal and rock. Now I can tell the difference easily. And rock and metal were like one of the first few music genres that I listened to that was not pop. So, I got hooked into both of them, but mainly rock, which I'll talk about in a bit. But metal, it's just same time as rock that I got into.
All right, and the last thing before we move on to the next one, honorable mention, Black Veil Brides and their song Faithless. That is my favorite song from them. And on top of that, probably one of my favorite metal songs of all time.
I don't have an honorable mention for metal.
All right.
Still a good genre though.
Moving on to rock. And you know what? I'll let you go first for this one.
All right, so for bands, number 1, surprisingly, Linkin Park, and my other 2, Rise Against and 3 Days Grace.
Not bad, not bad. This honestly, this one kind of like falls between like different eras. My favorite rock artists are Crush 40. If you guys don't know what that are, that's the band that creates the majority of the Sonic songs that many people love. Skillet, early 2000s rock.
That's a good one.
And Whitesnake. So 90s and 80s era. So I kind of got a little bit of a like century stuff going on right now. Different decades.
All right. My favorite songs from Linkin Park, it's Numb. From Rise Against, it's Savior. And 3 Days Grace, it's Animal I've Become.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Animal I've Become. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay. For favorite songs, for Crush 40, Live and Learn, duh. It's like, I got hooked on the song the first time I ever heard it. And even though this is not necessarily Crush 40, it's still technically a Sonic song. But I think they did the instrumentals for it. I could be wrong though. But With Me, probably one of the best boss music of all time. Sorry, Jordan. Bury the Light might have some contender. No, kidding. No, With Me is great. For Skillet, Monster, duh. Mm-hmm. And Invincible, even though I didn't really get... Like, at this point, when I first heard Invincible, I kind of, like, already got past Skillet, and I didn't really care for them as much anymore. But when I heard Invincible, it was like, oh, shit, this is pretty darn good. And for Whitesnake, Is This Love and Still of the Night. And Whitesnake tends to have a lot of, like, very intimate songs. Just goes to show what it was back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And honorable mention, I guess I would say Muse, because that was, like, one of the first rock bands I listened to in my life. But other than that, I haven't been listening to them much.
Even, did...
Honorable mention.
Okay, and the honorable mention for me is just go and listen to the entirety of the soundtrack of Sonic and the Black Knight. Because that whole soundtrack slaps. Mm-hmm. But, oh yeah, the introduction?
Introduction, I was going to get to that. Introduction, like I said, metal, didn't tell the difference at the time. But rock was one of the first few music genres I've ever listened to. Already got hooked into it. And, yeah, it's basically been there since the very beginning.
For me, my mom is the metalhead of the family, as well as me. My dad was more into the rock like genre, so I was in the balance of a metalhead mom and a rock dad, and I leaned more towards metal because I just loved how more intense and more energetic it brought. But not to say that rock was any bad, because there were a lot of good. Because I also listened to like Led Zeppelin and Def Leppard. Oh fuck, I forgot about Def Leppard. Honorable mention also for Def Leppard. They have what's the song? Foolin'. That's a great song. But mainly that's for like Whitesnake and like I said for the other ones like Led Zeppelin and all that other stuff. But for the other two, Crush 40 and Skillet, duh from video games, but also just looking up on the internet and then like early days of the internet, like 2008 or 2005 levels of the internet, where I would just like search up on YouTube Sonic or and songs like that, like from Skillet or from 3 Days Grace with the whole Animal I Become. When Sonic Unleashed was first around, they would have those songs playing in the background for the transformation scene.
That's awesome.
that just shows how nostalgic I am for it. Mm-hmm. All right, now we're moving on to EDM / dubstep. We want to put that in there because even though people are probably screaming right now, going, "Why did you split metal and rock, but not EDM and dubstep?" Dubstep is a subgenre of EDM, and plus dubstep was more so one of our more favorite subgenres of EDM. Because all the other EDM was very simplistic and barely had any differences to it. So
yeah,
because dubstep was more unique. And for me, my favorite artists were Skrillex, duh, and on the more video game side, quote unquote, F777 and Extrulier. I don't remember how to pronounce his name, but
I don't know either.
But he knows what I'm talking about, though.
I know who he is.
Those were my favorite. I mean, I have like a whole bunch of others, but those were my more favorites.
Okay. EDM artists. Two of them are from video games, which is Shirobon and Dex Arson. And I wanted to pick something mainstream just for someone to understand. Steve Aoki.
All right. And let's just see. What I lose track. All right, here we go. Favorite songs. So two each. So from Skrillex, the Levels remix. R.I.P. to Avicii.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And I put 3 for Skrillex mainly because it's a tie between 2 songs: Devil's Dance and Rock and Roll.
Okay.
I really like both of them, mainly because Devil's Dance has such an awesome melody at the very beginning. And for F777, so F777 and Excrulier, again, I'm butchering that name like crazy right now probably. But those two are mainly from Geometry Dash, like I mentioned. Well, I don't think I mentioned earlier, but like basically those two are like famous, mostly famous because they had so many songs in Geometry Dash. And my 2 favorites from F777 are Ludicrous Speed and Viper.
Good ones.
And as for Excrulier, Tria and the Zelda song remix. I forgot which one, but it's that one that he remixed.
I know what you're talking about, yeah. Tria's a good one. For songs, Shirobon. Okay, for the sake of adding time to this podcast, I'm going to say more than one for each artist. Shirobon, my favorite one is On the Run, but just to add more, Into the Zone and Born Survivor, and maybe Fox.
Those are good.
Yeah. Dex Arson, Machina is my favorite.
Yep.
But I'll also add in Frontlines and Round 1.
Good one.
And Steve Aoki, I'll just add one, which is Delirious.
All right. For the introduction, I just wrote down Kenneth and Geometry Dash. Kenneth mainly specifically for Skrillex. He got me into Skrillex.
Okay.
Because the first song he ever introduced me to was, I think you could probably guess it, it was First of the Year Equinox.
Ah, okay.
And for Geometry Dash, like I mentioned earlier, it's for the other 2 artists. And Kenneth also introduced me to Black Veil Brides, by the way, when they were first getting popular. So, thanks, Kenneth. Mm-hmm. I wish I knew where you were and how to get into contact with you, but you just disappeared.
Yeah. I guess I'll give my introduction to both EDM and dubstep. Dubstep, my big brother actually introduced me to dubstep because of, I'll just spoil my honorable mention, which is Skrillex. He got me into Skrillex. So that was my introduction to dubstep. And as for EDM, it was Geometry Dash. Very big difference, I know.
Yeah. If anything, Geometry Dash was like one of the reasons how we connected.
Yeah.
And the honorable mention for EDM/dubstep. There could have been a whole bunch because there's actually really good music in Geometry Dash. But I just went with the safe route. I went with Dex Arson Round 1. Okay. That's my mention because I remember really liking that when I first heard it.
Yeah. Honorable mention I already said, which is Skrillex.
All right, now we're moving on to pop.
Oh yeah, this one we definitely struggled as we were searching for some.
This and the next one.
Yeah.
All right, you start.
All right, so pop. My artist, I picked Rihanna, The Weeknd, and Michael Jackson.
And for me, I had Lady Gaga, Post Malone, and The Weeknd.
Okay, yeah. We picked the good ones.
Yeah, the good ones.
The good ones.
Screw Sabrina Carpenter and whatever the fuck these new artists are.
Yeah. Oh, no, man.
Even though technically The Weeknd and the Post Malone are kind of new, but anyway.
Yeah. So for songs, Rihanna, I picked Disturbia, and just to add more for the sake of this podcast, Only Girl and Umbrella. For The Weeknd, Take My Breath, and False Alarm, that was the other one. False Alarm. And Michael Jackson, Smooth Criminal, and Beat It.
For my favorite songs for Lady Gaga, I have Bad Romance, pretty obvious, and Poker Face. I had a hard time figuring out exactly which ones were my favorite from her, because I do like a lot. Also, another reason why I like Lady Gaga was because she performed with Metallica and duetted with the lead singer on one of their songs. So she earns more of my respect. And for Post Malone, Better Now and Rockstar. Yes, it's kind of simplistic, safe answers, but this is coming from someone that does not like pop, or not, I should say doesn't like. It's not the biggest fan of pop or the next genre that we're about to talk about, but he actually legitimately had some pretty catchy stuff. And for The Weeknd, you could thank Jordan for me getting into The Weeknd, because literally I'm pretty sure his list would just be, all right, for pop, The Weeknd, The Weeknd, The Weeknd, The Weeknd. But Blinding Lights, and this is actually a bit of a recent one that I recently just got into, Call Out My Name. I just heard that song pretty recently, and I was like, oh wow, this actually freaking rules. Actually a really, really good song. And for the introduction portion, I just wrote down, It's Everywhere.
Yep, same here. It's everywhere. Whether it's your car, the grocery store, your 7-Eleven,
The mall.
the mall. So yeah.
It's
The freaking hospitals we were born in, they're probably playing pop music, I can guarantee you.
probably.
So yeah, we've basically heard it since we were born. Just like all of you.
Oh my god, imagine, like during birth, they had one of the songs play, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna name my son after that song or that artist.
That's a good one. For honorable mention, this is kind of a really stupid one, but I wanted to include it. Lorde, because funnily enough, the reason I heard of her was because of a South Park episode where Randy was dressed up as Lorde and he performed on stage, and it was like the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
Jesus.
But just to pick a song, I guess Team.
I think Lorde might be I barely ever knew anything from Lorde. But for my honorable mention, I went with Michael Jackson, Beat It. It's because why not?
Yep.
It's a really, really good song. R.I.P. Eddie Van Halen. Now we're moving on to rap.
Yeah, this one we really struggled on.
So much so that I only have one favorite artist. And that's Pitbull.
I also included Pitbull for mine. But as another one, I also included Eminem, because why wouldn't I include him?
And favorite songs, I don't know if this is the actual song title, but Hey Baby.
That is the actual
Is
song.
that okay?
It is actually the song.
That's my favorite, and also On the Floor.
Yeah.
Because despite what people say, Pitbull actually makes good songs because it's not just rap. It actually is another artist that can actually sing, unless they have some auto-tuning. But other than that, yeah, he actually does make good songs.
Yep. For songs, Give Me Everything by Pitbull. And for Eminem, I picked Lose Yourself. And just for the sake of the podcast time, Without Me.
Introduction, I think it's pretty self-explanatory as well. It's everywhere. Also, at parties at either my house or other places, they would have these songs play.
Yep. And honorable mentions, I've got none. And I just have to say this about rap. I mean, technically, Queso made this analogy. I like rap the same way I like Chick-fil-A. As in, I'm okay with it, but it is disgustingly overrated.
Good take. And honorable mention, I just put Tupac, just because he's a well-respected rapper.
Alright, now we're moving on to country, which I'm just going to cut to the chase. I got nothing, y'all.
I got nothing. But just because I want to do something nice, my honorable mention is my dad's band, Scotty Boy McCoy, and I specifically recommend the song Gold. I think that's what it's called. But yeah, I would say that he actually does not bad of country / hard rock. So if you're into that stuff, you can go check him out. Just because my dad is also a really big music fan, and he also is into songwriting and stuff like that. So, this is my Father's Day gift, I should say.
Wow, good one. I just want to say, I guess the reason I didn't like get into country is because like rap, of course I know about it because I absolutely hate it. But country, I'm not gonna lie. I know this is gonna be like, how is this even possible? But I honestly kind of forget it exists from time to time.
Well, I mean, yeah, because it's just there. Like no,
Yeah.
like
And
it's the most indifferent like genre out there.
yeah, and it's funny because that's actually my mom's favorite genre. So I don't know how I don't listen to country music on a daily basis.
Interesting. All right, now this is where we kind of like shit the bed, and we just basically just now we're on to specific ones that don't really mean much, but video game music. And for this one, we didn't even like try. We were just like, all right, soundtracks from whatever. And for video game music, soundtracks from Sonic, Pokemon, Smash Bros. Brawl specifically, and that one Mega Man song that I do not know how to what the title of it was, but
Okay, my video games with the soundtracks are Payday 2, Hotline Miami, and Castle Crashers.
this is basically just us like sponsoring them at this point.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh yeah, we are not even. I mean, we're close to 30 minutes, but
Okay, well in that case, I'm gonna list off most songs from these games.
hey, you know what? Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do the same after you. Then
Okay, so for Payday, Death Row is my favorite soundtrack, but just to add more, let's see here, Backstab, Pounce, Break the Rules, what's it called, Trick of the Trade, and Operation Blacklight.
all right. For me, I'm gonna go with the Sonic because that's the one where I have like probably the most knowledge of the music. Like I said, Live and Learn, With Me, Fight the Night, Through the Fire. Yep, that's what it's called. Open Your Heart. Yeah, that's a good one. What else is there? I Am or All of Me. I don't remember exactly the specific name of it, but the Shadow song.
Okay.
What else? What else? What else? What else? Some really good ones. This is all Sonic, so not just Crush 40. Escape the City is a good one. Escape from the City, I don't remember. The Secret Rings theme is good, but not the Crush 41. That's the one Crush 40 song I actually do not like. Their version is ass. His World is a good one, but specifically the one without the lyrics or the Zebrahead version. I do not like the original version for the life of me. For whatever reason, people really like that one. But the anthemic orchestral version, that one is really, really good. And also Zebrahead's version.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, still got 2 more video games to talk about on mine. But it's okay, it's adding more time.
Yeah.
So for my Hotline Miami soundtracks, okay, first off, these are going to have some really weird names, so just bear with me. So we have Tech Noir, Decade Dance, New Wave Hookers, I know, weird names, Remorse, Sexualizer, Bloodline, Roller Mobster, She Swallowed Burning Coals. I know, they're really weird.
I'm about to go into the aesthetics portion with this one. Like, what the fuck?
And Future Club. Those are the soundtracks I can name that I really like.
About to go in that whole, like, aesthetics, like, rant with those titles, bro. What the fuck? For Pokemon, almost the entirety of the soundtrack from Pokemon Black version and White version. Mm-hmm. I think you understand why. Yeah. And then that's it for Pokemon.
I mean, on the topic of Pokemon, I just want to say, I can like think of like many Black and White soundtracks that I like compared to, let's say, Sword and Shield. I only like the Gym Leader theme. That's the only theme song I like from that game compared to Black and White. For Castle Crashers, my favorite soundtracks, Simple Sight, Final Confrontation, Winter Bliss, Dark Skies, and Space Pirates. I think you might know what Space Pirates is.
Was it doo-doo-doo-doo?
Yeah, that's Space
okay.
Pirates.
Yeah, I know it then. Smash Brawl, the main theme, in my opinion, is the best theme out of all the Smash games.
Yeah, I agree.
It's the best one.
Is that it for Smash Ball?
Smash Ball.
It was Smash Brawl.
Yeah, that's the only one I really think.
Okay.
Because all the other ones are either like background like video game music from from the other games that they were featured in.
Yeah, basically just the remixes of that
Yeah.
game. We have our final category, which is movie soundtracks, because we're getting really desperate. So, for me, I have Juggernaut's theme song from Deadpool 2. Unironically, I listen to that shit. I also have LED Spirals from John Wick. That's one of the reasons why I got into EDM. And also, just for shits and giggles, Hello Zepp from Saw, which is the Saw main theme song.
And for me, I went with I just saw my third one. The Halloween theme, because it's super iconic, because how can you not like that one? The Avengers theme, because I think anyone with at least a sense of music and just like superheroes would probably get goosebumps from listening to that theme, because it's super epic. And this one is this is all for shits and giggles, because I could not think of anything else. Ghost Rider's theme from Ghost Rider 2: Spirit of Vengeance. It's so stupidly specific. I'm glad we at least had one where it's like super specific to a specific character. Damn it.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Oh my god. Alright, guys, and that's going to wrap it up for today's podcast. And for the next podcast, for episode 15, Ruben, what are we going to be doing?
Okay, so similar to that one snack tier list we made a while back, this time we're going to do drinks tier list. Originally it was going to be sodas, but we just kept finding like duplicates of others and like bunch of ones we have not tried. So we're just going to do drinks just to make things a lot more simple. I guess this one will be like a lot more relaxing compared to some others, so that's why we're doing this one.
Yeah, today's podcast was pretty short, and I'm assuming the other one's going to be pretty short as well. But, we're not going to be giving off our, big opinions and giving off big rants like the aesthetics tier list, so.
Yeah.
And I don't think anything will really top that one.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. But on that note, I'm Mateo.
And I'm Ruben.
And we'll see you guys next time.